Peace and love, peace and love. Let's get something clear. Let's fully understand this. If you're a so-called African American, so-called black person, so-called colored person, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but probably 80 to 90% of y'all don't have, I mean, you have zero African blood in you, unless we're going to describe Europe as Northern Africa. If we're not going to describe Europe as Northern Africa, you don't really have any African blood in you. Now, let me explain to you who the Moors are. The Moors came from this landmass right here called America, which in the past was called many different names. To name a few: Atlantis, uh, Almadicash, Almadicanos. These are a few names. The Moors came from here. The Moors are the first ones to create a super society and then take it all over the world. The word Moor actually meant seafarer before it became associated with the complexion of said seafarers. Okay? So the word Moor was a word that was being used here on this continent first. Now, but before I continue, if you're a so-called African American, I want to say like more than 9%, like 9 out of 10, you got a European last name. Okay? I've already told you in other videos that slavery did not happen the way that they told you that it happened. Period. So, to make this a little bit easier to understand what I'm saying, a plantation is owned by a family, right? All of us, so-called African Americans, we have there. You have familiar last names that you find amongst us, like Williams, Brown, Smith, stuff like that. But then you got to account for all the random European last names that these so-called African Americans are over here walking around with. Now, let me ask you this question: for these hundreds of thousands of different last names, when was the last time you've even seen a plantation? Much less hundreds and thousands of them. Think about what I'm saying for a second. Okay. So that question was for the so-called African Americans who are stuck in this rut of thinking that you came here from the African slave trade. Because the thing is, you most definitely, if you have a European last name, you came from the Moors who came from Europe from the dates between 1419 and 1619. Okay, they came over here and they amalgamated with the Moors that were in the Americas, and they became a single people. Okay, so like I said, unless you're going to describe Europe as Northern Africa, if you have a European last name and you're a so-called African American, your ancestors are African Americans, you descend from a combination of the European Moors and the Moors that were already here. So this is real history. This is what happened. So I had to make that clear to you so that when I begin to read you history from Moors in Europe, I don't want you to be like, oh, I thought we were already here. Now you understand. You are a mixed person, most definitely. And we can approximate what the mixture is, and it's of melanated peoples. Is you didn't have a something raped into your bloodline unless you know for a fact that happened. That probably didn't happen. Okay, so I'm going to read y'all from this book right here, "The Jews and Moors in Spain" by Rabbi Yos Kroskov. And we're going to turn to page 50. I'm going to read from the bottom of page 50 to like the bottom of page 51, somewhere in that range. And I'm just going to read this so that you can begin to understand how much we as Moors all across the world have really given to the world. And and so you have to understand you are who your ancestors were without doubt or contradiction. So when you read about the things that your ancestors did, these are capabilities that very well exist within you as far as what you can bring to the table. So let's go ahead and hop into this. Entering upon our subject and beginning at the root of the tree of science, we make the pleasing discovery that to the Arab Moors of Spain belongs the honor of having been the first to generally introduce in Europe for scientific and industrial and commercial purposes the science of arithmetic. Had they achieved nothing else, the introduction of this most needful of all the branches of mathematics alone would have entitled them to a distinguished place among the world's benefactors. That introduction was the starting point of a new progress. Its use and development made possible the higher mathematics and analytical mechanics and astronomy and every other science discovered since and held with delight. Little do we think today when we pride ourselves on the startling achievements of our astronomers and meteorologists and other scientists, when we speak of the miracles they work in space and time, of the ascensions they make to the remotest of the nebulae, and of their holding communion there with stars and worlds and solar systems whose light was not yet reached has not yet reached the earth. Little do we think when we speak of electricity obeying our every wish, and of steam yoked in our service, and of the countless other wonders of modern science, little do we think that for all these blessings, we are lastingly indebted to the Arab Moors and to their assistants, the Jews, for their faithful labors in mathematics. Little do we think that we are pronouncing Arabic words when we speak of the quote unquote zero or the quote unquote cipher, the quote unquote not, that most important of all figures upon which the most needful of all arithmetical contrivances is based, the decimal system. And when we remember that the prosperity and progress of every country in Europe dates from the introduction of the Arabian figures, and when we realize the clumsiness and uselessness of the Hebrew and Greek and Latin alphabet figures in vogue in Europe before the entrance of the Arab Moors into Spain, and when we try to work out a problem of multiplication, say 99 multiplied by 99, in accordance with the notation of the Arabic 9 digits in cipher, and then in accordance with the Roman alphabet figures XCIX times XCIX, then perhaps we will most readily give thankful praise to those to whom Europe owes a magnificent, a boon, to those who, with so simple an invention, opened the avenues of prosperity and loosened the fetters that had shackled the advance of science. Encouraged by their success in arithmetic, they turned towards a higher branch of mathematics and gave to Europe the science of numbers and quantity and named it algebra, to bind parts together. Whether, as some claim, the Arab Moors obtained their knowledge of algebra from the schools in Baghdad or Damascus, who in their turn had derived it from the Hindus, or whether, as others claim, the Jews, in their diligent translations from the early Greek geometricians into Arabic, must have come across and followed up the algebraic trace, which is supposed to exist in the treatise of Diophantus, 350 AC, or whether the Moorish claim be the true one, that the honor of having invented algebra belongs to one of their own mathematicians who flourished about the middle of the ninth century, to Muhammad bin Musa or Moses, whoever the inventors be of this valuable branch of mathematics. Unanimity of opinion prevails concerning one point, and that is the Arab Moors and Jews first introduced algebra into Europe. Still more, Ibn Musa or bin Moses developed it to the solution of quadratic equations, and Ibn Ibrahim bin Abraham to the solution of cubic equations. Ibn Korah or bin Korah to the application of algebra to geometry, laying thus the foundation of analytical geometry. Geometry led them to trigonometry, which they elevated to a practical science by substituting signs for chords and by establishing formulas and tables of tangents and cotangents and secants and cosecants. From trigonometry, Baghdadi advanced to land surveying and wrote on it a treatise so excellent that by some it has been declared to be a copy of Euclid's lost work on that subject. The unbiased student who studies diligently among the achievements of the Moors and Jews will soon detect not only a systematic contrivance on the part of the literature of Europe to put out of sight our obligations to them in science, but a bold effort wherever a chance presents itself to wrest their hard toil from them and bestow it upon someone who is not so unfortunate as to be Saracen or Jew, but quote unquote injustice founded on religious rancor and national conceit cannot be perpetuated forever. The real truth cannot be much longer hidden, and if the chapters of this volume have no other effect than simply to do justice to the memory of those who have toiled and have suffered, that we may enjoy today the blessings of our civilization, we shall regard our labor as amply rewarded. All right, so I'm gonna stop there. So again, this was just to give y'all a glimpse at some of the magnificent contributions that we as Moors have brought to the world as a whole, and how the whole world has begun to flourish in economics, socially, in all facets of civilization. We have flourished simply because of the contributions that the Moors have given to the world. So, with that, don't forget, we the Moors. Hold up, hold up, we the Moors. Hold up, we the Moors. Hold up, we making noise. Hold up, hold up. Hold up, we the Moors. Hold up, we the Moors. Hold up, we making noise. Hold up, we the Moors. Send your city back to cinder, now you're in a province. Tripping like Team Rocket in the courtrooms, how we get it poppin'. These fans bopping, but we steppin', no there ain't no stopping. Our constitution with the most high, no there ain't no topping. Bless our president, at first we only had a prophet. Now we have marshals, we have judges, no we ain't just talking. This legislation came from all the we ain't with the nonsense. We study everything and anything, stay getting knowledge. Islamic gnosis, we be tripping, it can get hypnotic. That more science from the lions hitches like some chronic. They told my great granddaddy not to read. Now we're teaching all the secrets and we're being honest. Hold up, we the Moors. Hold up, we the Moors. Hold up, we making noise. Hold up, hold up, we the Moors. Hold